All right, we're being recorded. Welcome, everybody, to the power of the node. Go ahead and switch. First off, introduce myself. Drupal, the guide to planning and building websites. I got a D-Zone card up for quick references for those of you who are new to Drupal. It's the stuff. Has been to what nodes are. So go ahead. All right. So anyone can anyone who you create your own, like maybe event. So what happens is you're going to log into your Drupal website and you're going to type content into your form online and you're going to hit save or submit, and it's going to produce a node. But what we see when we're doing that is we're producing a web page. But are we really creating a web page? Yeah, we get it by producing a web page. We get a URL. No, within the dotted lines. Pages in Drupal are made up of headers and sometimes sidebar blocks and block. An author, I'm typing my blog. right? I've got my title and so on. I'm typing in my content and I hit enter, but I'm not empowered to do anything else. I'm not empowered to add a block on the side. That's an administrative interface configuration, unless my developers have done some work ahead of time for me. Go ahead and hit, all right. What part, page, I mentioned that, and what about pages whose content region error? And their IT person, and we got together and we started exploring what their needs were and how their users were going to use the site. That's in this whole process that we're about to go through. It was understanding how their users were going to use the site and enabling them to do it. It was one of those situations where, yeah, we could do it certain ways, but how will that impact them later? So what we came up with is a strategy of it'll always be a node unless we can prove that it can't be. And so most of their website, this now, just so you know, there is a column over here on the side, and some of the blocks in there on occasion will have some dynamic content as well. We'll see that later. Okay. Any questions about this content? Yes.
Were you referring to meta tags in a sense, or as far as search results?
No. Country question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what we're doing here is these 3 blocks that we're demonstrating here on the side are actually pre-packaged views. You have to install it separately, just so you know. That if you want, you can pass it information. It allows you to pre-package a query. Let me start again because I'm rambling here. Views. Let's go to the next one. Okay, so here's yet another page, and a couple other features that we engaged on this site. So we have, of course, the title, the body field. In this particular case, we don't give them the image that goes across the top, but we did empower them to create books. So the book outline feature comes with Drupal core. It's fantastic for ordering content, for allowing your user to see that you have navigation. You know, there's more to come over here. This is just one way to do that. Now notice that that list, the outline feature, that content is also presented up in the right corner where it says digital textile. The book module. And we put that in place. So if the user engaged this tool, it would automatically appear for them. We have, again, the view blocks related in the Expo industry. So we not only have some matches, we also have some organic indexing going on in the back, bring user content that's similar. The objective of our client was to make sure that their membership can content similar to what they're looking at that time, as it might be not content. So we go in and say, you know what, this content is specifically related to this piece of content, and it will appear. I just couldn't find a page where it does that. I was searching around for a screen print. So this just gives you a couple other options. But in the node itself, there's an option to say, hey, this is going to be related here, this is going to be related here. And near the end of the presentation, we'll open up this form so you can on this particular website, another strategy we use just for layout purposes, and mind, it's, you know, it doesn't have to be like this. You can use other layout strategies. We collect information commerce type for actual people where we upload their name, their addresses, and pictures and so on, and we link out to that. And so these two blocks on their side are basically printing content associated with the node. One on the top is printing just straight up. The user who created this node called Asdar, and Jonathan is the manager of North American Sales. Okay, so we use the power of you. Made the decision. They didn't have to go somebody else saying, hey, I need a block over here, I need these pictures that loaded up, I need their information loaded. They didn't have to type it separately. The feed module is so that we can bring content in from other sources. It's not a strategy that.
Yes, ma'am, the power.
Want to, let me put it that way. And that's why Views is being integrated into Drupal 8. Okay, you know, there's different reasons why I didn't make it into 7, but it's incredible. It's you use content types in the various forms to collect data, and it gets stored in a database. So how do you get that data back out? The way you want it to come back out, not the way necessarily Drupal wants to bring it back out. And that's what we're doing here. We're using nodes to collect decisions by the content author. Views and other system blocks are kicking in and saying, okay, I'll behave. If you engage this
So to clarify the earlier question,
Yeah.
how is the thumbnail of the made parallel? You can do just through views, or do you have or another?
Left feature in the, okay, so in views, or you can check a box and say, hey, I want a custom style. And in this particular case, float dash left was engaged.
Mm-hmm.
And
Sports and that got
Generally speaking, views gets you the stuff you want to show. So the thumbnail, the name, the company.
mm-hmm.
Theme takes care of how to, how to show it. But views can, in theory, that's the way it is. There can be a little bit of overlap. Left.
Page, it's locked when you spin on the page.
I just remembered what in my doing that. The question is, everything has to be in a block? Is that what
Yes, it's spin on the page. So views and
yes and no. Okay, so the nature of Drupal is that there is a region called content. Okay, and in there, that specific type of program to show what is carried by the URL. So this, for example, this is a node, so it's going to show the node. If it's the search page, it's going to show search result. The blog module wants to print. Everything else around it, blocks. Different kinds of blocks, slideshow blocks, view blocks, node blocks, form blocks, all sorts of types of blocks. But yeah, they're little blocks that you stick in either regions or other display devices. Does that help?
Yeah.
All right, so next. All right, so a while back, please. Everything. So what we have here is we have event link. In the form, they type in what they want because they had a need to link within the site. We have types where we bring them in and make them related to this. We have there's an address field in the content type, and there's a module that comes in and says, hey, I'm Google sensitive and I recognize the address field, I'll show you a picture. So we have that engaged. That's not a view, that's another module bringing in a block. Down below at the bottom underneath that, we have a view bringing in the address that actually got typed into that field. We have, as you can see, various objects. We have the banner going across the top so that when they want multiple presentations listed within and then presented, so we don't have to come up with a challenging layout is what we needed, and we can demonstrate that to you. They can say who sponsored it. They can add banners, and it's all within the client's purview. All they have to do is open that form, fill out all the fields, boom, and the site page comes to life for them. They don't have to know how to go into blocks and turn things on. They don't have to know how to program anything. Yes.
Would you be able to show us what that form?
Yes, I'm gonna go to that in just a second. So let's go ahead, next one. So I guess I've teased you into now you want to see how this thing actually works. Okay, so last but not least on this particular one, a different way of doing it. Not only are we presenting fields within our tabs and so on, you can also use the manage display feature associated with content types in their forms, and bring in blocks that have dynamic data such as views and such. So let's go ahead and switch over to, we'll do this site first.
Okay.
Okay.
Logged in?
Yes, please.
Okay.
You're already logged in.
Yep.
Okay. So let's go to events.
So that's
We're running local right now, so some of our images may or may not show up right. We didn't know we were going to have good internet in here. So go down, and you're looking, you got the first one, Test Mega Event. Right now, that's showing up, but it's set at a level that only we can see it. So another thing with nodes is managing permissions for the content, both create and view. So depending on how fast we get through this, I'll answer as many questions as possible near the end. Okay, so go ahead and click Edit, please.
sure.
Okay, so scrolling down a little bit, so we have the title of our node. So this is a multilingual site, so we also have the option of choosing the language. The feature called Featured ISBN Event, that's so that we can partition the events to show on different sub-landing pages dynamically, so the client can just say, hey, I want this to show up on this landing page as well, and it will, just by checking the box, and making a selection on the type of event. The organizer, just basic information, date, time information. There's the location. This is the address field module. Then we go down, and so we have the event description. So we have, that's the default body field. And scrolling down a little bit further, we have some offsite links. So if there's going to be a link to, hey, this is where the webinar is, the client wanted to be able to present that right quickly on the page. Speech. Other details are event details. So now we're getting into the tabbed content, so they can type whatever they want in here. Scrolling down, we have an event image. So in this particular case, they have engaged, so they click in there, image will load. Scrolling down, we have image credit. We found that we had some folks taking images that they shouldn't have been taking, and maybe maybe they had permission, maybe they didn't, and this is to make them stop and go, maybe I shouldn't have taken that image and put it on this website. So we're trying to cover things, making them stop and think. And then we wanted to tighten up the form a little bit, and so we have the tags, and so country, these are all vocabularies, all right? So we have countries, sectors. Go down to the next tab, please. Here is, remember that block in the top corner? It says, links, okay? So that they feel comfortable for that event. Sign up for. This is the web engaged. Okay, so that's just going to stick there on the top. You may have seen that. And then we have the carousel another image field, but which is kind of cool. Thanks to this gentleman right here. He made it happen. And so the carousel that we saw across the top is a view. Everything seems to be a view. It's not a separate module, it's a view feature. To put this on, if this is an event that's associated with Chile, one of their member countries, we can hook it up to the Chile landing page, and it will show up on their page dynamically. There's this one. So remember I said field collection. So in here, they had panels. They had different ways of presenting all their sessions for all their events, and they wanted to be able to group them and so on. So they had the option to say, hey, this is the panel and all the sessions associated with it. They could just do one, or they could do multiples. Go ahead, event partner block. Content type, choose a node from that content type, and then link to it. And then their names get pulled in as well. Related content. And this is where we presentations or go to videos or listen to audio or check out links, whatever. All their resource nodes, just tons and tons of resource nodes. If they, whatever ones that are actually related to this, they can go ahead and link to them. You scroll down just a little bit. There's also, I think at the bottom, there it is. This site also runs organic groups. So if there's an after event or pre-event organic group discussion going on, we link to that as well. Yes?
I'm kind of confused. Is this page a node or is it a URL?
This is, what we're looking at right here is the content type form for an event. So this So now we have an empty one. So now I can create an event. This argue they don't have the time, they don't have the skill set to, or the budget the page.
That show up when you create a node. When she chose they selected the type of node, and what fields are included is determined by the type of node.
And you
can
can
do
type
that
content type of node
without any,
Can you show me
without any programming.
Let's
What they've done is they've made it a lot easier to use by customizing the display of that to add these more tabs at the bottom, and some of that may have to do with modules that they use that I don't know about.
So what we did is we built a content type called event, and this is what this is default configuration right now. And we went in, and if you scroll down, I think is configurable. Now, is there custom tweaking on the theme? Little CSS here and there. I can't lie to you. You're going to have to know how to do that. I'm sorry. It's just fact. It's not something I love, but yeah. So yeah.
This might get a little specific, but in terms of getting your fields into that tab view at the bottom.
Yeah. Can you go to manage display? So there's a module. By default, you can create these. Not by default. There's a module called field. No, is there a
Here's
full
an
display?
example of it. What's that?
Display? Okay, no, there's a default. Okay, so you can see here, in this particular event, so here's a horizontal tab item, horizontal tab item, okay, and inside these, I'm dropping fields in place. Sometimes what I drop in there, depending on what we're doing, is a block that comes with Display Suite. So if you were to go to the Manage Display for member, please.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yes, member.
You'll start there.
Yeah, exactly. We're running out of screen here. Here we go.
Okay, so go to full content, please. Okay, so on this one, if you scroll down to the bottom, please. See where it says Add Custom Fields? This is Display Suite in action. So if I add in such a way that this particular page says, ooh, I see all these different nodes that have been tagged for me, I'll display them now. The view is doing that because we have used the power of the node to tag things. I have just a few more minutes. Would you like to see more backend?
You had grouped a bunch of fields, not as
Oh.
vertical tabs.
This is what we're talking about.
Yeah, so
Is that something that requires a separate module?
So yeah, it's lots.
Different than
And allows you to imagine, if you will, you're collecting. You're doing a
to be?
Is it going to be integrated with another system? You know, so those big
Seven. Yeah, seven. At this point, um,